As a film producer and a founder of the Salem Film Fest, I'm regularly asked to visit high school media classrooms to take a look at student films and offer conceptual suggestions and technical advice. This has always been a pleasure for me, something I look forward to. Some of the work I've seen produced for high school assignments is amazingly good. Short films as powerful and memorable as features we showcased in the main Salem Film Fest programming. Some of these student films are hilarious. Some are upbeat and inspiring, and others are exceptionally intimate and troubling, offering intense glimpses into the struggles of being an adolescent in today's world. But even after watching films that wrestled with immense challenges, I didn't leave feeling sad. I felt hope. As we're getting ready to take a look at the work of young filmmakers tonight, I want to briefly share where I think that hope comes from and why it's so powerful. But first I want to give a couple of huge shout-outs. One to Leading Ladies for organizing and sponsoring this first annual Art as Activism film contest. Thank you for your commitment to equal access for all to education, healthcare, housing, food, jobs, and representation, and for your programs to promote education, conversation, and an activist definition of citizenship. The other shout-out goes to the Cabot for hosting this important event and providing an opportunity for young cinematographers to see their work on the big screen on the Cabot stage, or the big digital screen available all over the world. You never know how this kind of experience can influence a life. As a founder of the Cabot Performing Arts Center, it's truly gratifying to see this beautiful, historic, vibrant venue used as a showcase for young talent and a way for the community to catch a glimpse of the future of filmmaking. Tonight, both of these organizations are providing hope. And hope is in short supply right now. You don't need me to tell you that, but I'm going to anyway, in order to make a very important point. Right now, we're in the middle of at least 5 serious crises. A deadly, global, evolving pandemic has disrupted every aspect of normal life, confronting each of us with a terrifying prospect or experience of serious illness or death. Our political systems are polarized and broken, and many of the norms for constructive conversation to address the most important issues have been trampled. The climate impacts of our use of fossil fuels are becoming more visible and disruptive every day in wildfires, intense storm systems, and extreme temperatures. The economy seems tenuous and volatile for everyone except a few. A growing income disparity leaves essential workers on the edge of poverty and eviction, and frays and tears the social fabric that holds our communities together. As we watched the filmed murder of George Floyd, many in our nation were able to see clearly the system of racial injustice on which our society was built. But what does it feel like to be a high school student in these troubled times? If it's difficult for adults, how overwhelming must it feel to teenagers? According to the Surgeon General, young Americans are also in the midst of an urgent mental health crisis. In a statement released this December 17th, Dr. Vivek Murthy writes, quote, "Even before the pandemic, an alarming number of young people struggled with feelings of helplessness, depression, and thoughts of suicide, and rates have increased over the past decade. The COVID-19 pandemic further altered their experiences at home, school, and in the community, and the effect on their mental health has been devastating. The future well-being of our country depends on how we support and invest in the next generation. We can all work together to step up for our children during this crisis." Unquote. I took the time to list all these crises to underscore the point that it was during these times, under the pressure of multiple traumas, that the films we're about to watch were created. I had the privilege of previewing these videos, and rather than leaving me depressed about the state of the world or the experience of life as a teenager in America, they left me feeling hopeful. A number of the films you will see tonight were created by first-time filmmakers. Some of the techniques are iffy, some mistakes were made in the process, but it's clear that they are finding their way, and I hope they will continue to refine this craft in the months and years ahead. But the best of these films are not merely quality self-expression. They can truly be called art. And art is powerful. It gives us hope. On the most superficial level, art distracts us from our troubles. But it can also help us see connections and meaning and solutions we didn't see before. Art can transport us to a different place, or to a different perspective on the same place, a perspective that feels more hopeful and positive. In a polarized world, art helps unite us, helps us remember the ways we are already united. In a speech at the Davos World Economic Forum, artist Olof Eliasson noted, quote, "A work of art can make us more tolerant of difference and of one another. An encounter with art and with others over art can help us identify with one another, expand our notion of we, and show us that individual engagement in the world has actual consequences," unquote. I know that for young filmmakers, the process of just creating a film feels exhilarating. Learning to listen for your own voice and then speak with your own voice is a heady and joyful experience. And many of these filmmakers are using their voice to directly address the very challenges that make these troubled times so difficult. That's what gives me hope. But art requires a creator and an audience. It's in that communal event, like the one we're participating in tonight, that art becomes transformative. I was particularly moved by 4 of these films. Remember Your Roots is a simple portrait of 2 women whose personal journey blazed a trail for LGBTQI rights. Behind the Bathroom Door presents a series of scenes of young women, allowing us to glimpse moments of sorrow, camaraderie, panic, isolation, gossip, pain, and relief. The Movement Family is a stirring introduction to an inspiring nonprofit organization in Lawrence, Mass., and the passionate young man who founded it when he was just 18 years old. And Generation Burnout is a powerfully direct series of first-person perspectives on the devastations and gifts provided by the pandemic, with an ending focused on the idea and possibility of hope. Can a film made by a teenager change the world? And if so, how much difference can it make? It may be good for us to remember that on May 25th, 2020, the world was irrevocably transformed by a video shot in front of the Cup food store in Minneapolis by 17-year-old filmmaker Darnella Frazier. To the makers of tonight's films, I say congratulations and thank you for sharing your voice and your vision with the world. Keep following your passion and keep making art. To Leading Ladies and the Cabot, thank you for investing in these young filmmakers in a way that gives them courage and joy and amplifies their voice and vision. And to all of you who have gathered for this important event, both in person and virtually, thank you for making community and conversation possible. I hope your world is transformed a little bit tonight, and I hope you leave feeling a little more hope.